Over the past year, I've been making a number of upgrades to the equipment that I use to record videos here on this channel. And I've also been making some upgrades to the room itself. I mean, this room here that you've probably seen in a number of my recent videos is like an extra room in my home. I mean, it's where my kids used to have a playroom back in the day. They're too old to have a playroom now, but I don't know. I guess in some ways it's probably my playroom these days. I mean, it's where I do my work. It's where I edit photos. It's where I edit videos. It's where I create videos. It's where I store all my stuff. But ever since COVID and since like many of you, I'm sure I've been spending more time at home than ever before, this room has taken on a new level of importance because I'm creating more video content here than I ever anticipated doing originally. So in this video, what I'm gonna do is talk you through some of the new gear that I have, some of the things that I replaced, some of the things that I'm no longer using, some of the things that I'm now using, and also offer some recommendations for how you can also make some changes to your space and how you can treat it better for both video and audio. How's it going, everyone? Always a pleasure to see you. My name is Todd Dominey. Before I begin, I just want to quickly reference something that I posted over at Instagram. If you don't follow me, you can check me out over here at Instagram. I posted a story a couple of days ago where I shared like the first true landscape photo that I've attempted to capture in months. I mean, many months. I mean, it has been since December of last year. That's how long it's been. And it was in December last year that I went out to Death Valley. Had a super productive trip, awesome trip, and I just did so much photography when I was out there. It was amazing. If you would like to check out that video, by the way, I will link to it up here above. So this past weekend, we had to get out. Like, we were going stir crazy. We had to get out of here, and we went up to the mountains of North Carolina. We went up to the Highlands area. Beautiful area in the fall. If you've never been to North Carolina in the fall, absolutely gorgeous with the trees and the foliage and the colors and the vibrant reds and yellows and oranges, and it's just such a beautiful place to be. And if you're into waterfalls, I mean, if you enjoy photographing waterfalls, it is one of the best places to go to. I mean, you just go and you just type in waterfalls near me and you will see pins all over the map there. So we got out and we did some hiking around, and it wasn't a photography trip, it was a family trip. So, I mean, I didn't, do my usual thing, but I, brought some gear along and did a little bit of photography while I was there. And, even though I wasn't super happy with, what I got, I just thought it was okay. It didn't matter because I hadn't really created anything in so long that I was just so excited to be photographing something new. And it was just amazing. All right, without further ado, let's talk about gear. Now, in my last video that I made when I made one of these videos, the key light that I was using at the time was a Godox SL-60W. But one of the things that I found out and I learned over time about the Godox SL-60W is the fact that once you attach a large softbox to it, I mean, you're already diminishing some of the light a fair amount by doing that. When that happens, then you have to bring the light pretty close to you. I mean, when I would be recording a video like this, I would have to have the light like within 2 to 3 feet. Well, once you bring the light that close, then it gets in your shot, which means you have to bring the camera closer so that the light is out of frame, which means that then you have to use a wide angle lens. And I don't particularly like using wide angle lenses for recording video. I needed more wattage. I needed a brighter light. So I still have the 60W, just using it for other things, but now I'm using the VL150, also from Godox. And the main thing that the VL150 provides, as indicated by its name, is wattage. I mean, this is a 150 watt light compared to the 60 watt light that I had before, which makes it 2.5 times brighter. The brighter the light is, the more creative flexibility you have, the more creative options you have, and the further away you can get the light source from your subject. I mean, the 60W is okay. It was fine to get started with, but I should have invested the money in a higher wattage light from the beginning. And I mean, the VL150 didn't even exist at the time. It's now available, and I think it's awesome. The lens that I'm using, a lens I'm shooting with right now, this is a 35mm f1.4 lens. It's a Sigma art lens made for EF mount cameras. Now, speaking of cameras, in case you're curious to know, the camera I'm recording with is still my old Canon 5D Mark IV, recording everything in 1080. It's fine, it's okay. I mean, to be honest, at this point, I thought I would be recording with an R5 or an R6, but because of some of the issues with it that you've probably heard of, I ended up canceling those orders, and now I'm kind of waiting to see what comes next and waiting to make a decision on my camera. C70 looks pretty nice, I think, but we'll see about that. But anyway, as for the lens I had been using before and was my primary video lens was the 50mm f1.2 full-frame Canon EF lens, which I know some people love. I think it has, beautiful shallow depth of field, fantastic low light performer because of that huge f1.2 aperture. But for me, and maybe it was just my copy of the lens, I always found it to be soft, especially at f1.2 and f1.4. I mean, just for recording video, I don't know. I thought it was great at first, and then over time, I just really started to notice the problems. Audio. Now, audio is a pretty big topic. I have a few things that I want to talk about and share with you here because I've been making a number of changes, and this is one area that I've really been focusing some time and attention on. Now, just to clarify, because I know some people are going to ask this question because I always get this question, people want to know what microphone I'm using. The microphone I'm using today is the same microphone I was using, that I've been using for I think over a year now, and that is the Sennheiser MKH416 shotgun microphone. It is an industry standard, it is a professional microphone, it is an expensive microphone, but its sound quality is fantastic. And to be honest, I mean, I found a really good deal on one used. I got it at just an insanely good price. But I thought, if I'm going to be doing this and if I'm going to be recording videos, the audio has to be good. Because you've probably heard this before where you can watch a video, like a low quality video with good audio quality, but you can't go the other way. Like it's really painful to watch a video with high quality video, but poor audio. There's just something about it. And especially I think when you're wearing headphones. As for how I record audio, I record everything to a Tascam separately from the camera. And then later in Premiere, I synchronize everything together because the preamps in the Canon 5D Mark IV are trash and you don't want to be recording audio directly to camera. Another microphone that I actually recently picked up that I'm using for all my voiceover work and anytime I'm doing anything in like Lightroom or Photoshop or Capture One is the PR40 mic made by HEiL. I don't know, there's something about doing like things on screen and demonstrating things in software and there's just something about it which I think a dynamic microphone like the HEiL, which has more of like a podcast voiceover kind of sound, I think it just fits way better than the shotgun. Last year when I set up this room for recording video, I put up a lot of those black foam acoustic tiles that you see, the kind that you use spray adhesive to like mount on cardboard and then use Velcro and attach them to the wall. I never liked them. I mean, I put up a bunch of them in this room. I thought they were good at first and I thought they helped. But over time, I just really started to hate them. And I hated them because I didn't like how they looked. I mean, I thought they were, quite frankly, rather ugly. But on top of all that, they just made the room dark. I mean, they made this room feel like a cave because they just absorb so much light. So what I decided to do was to get rid of all those panels. And in doing so, when I took all the panels off the wall, I ended up peeling off, some top layers of drywall all around the room. I had to repair all of that, had to repaint the room. And then I turned my attention to the panels. Now, what I wanted for the panels was something super minimal, something clean, something that would just kind of recede and blend into the wall so that you wouldn't really notice them. What I discovered was a video and a blog post that was made by Becki and Chris here on YouTube. And in that video, they showed how they made their own DIY sound panels. And one of the things that they used were these inch-thick sheets of soundproofing insulation that you can buy and order online. They're awesome. I mean, they're way thinner than the typical insulation boards that you find. I hooked up with my old friend Federico, and he has like a wood shop in his back. We made the frames. I found some fabric that matched the walls and stretched it around and staple gunned them all together. And they're awesome. I mean, they work a lot better than the old acoustic tiles that I had, and I think they look a lot better too. And then came the project of mounting some panels on the ceiling. I looked all over the place. I mean, I looked at hooks, I looked at, using wire, I looked at just like DIY stuff at Home Depot. I couldn't figure out how to do it right. And then I stumbled across a company named GIK, or G-I-K, Acoustics. And what they do is they manufacture like high-end, super like professional sound panels, the kind that I'm, making myself. But one of the things that they offer are ceiling mount brackets that are specially designed for mounting sound panels from a ceiling. And these brackets are phenomenal. I mean, you screw them into your panel, you put a couple of toggle bolts in your ceiling, and then you just slide your panel onto the bolts, onto the screw, and then you just tighten it up in the ceiling, and you're good to go. And it's perfectly level. They look great. And additionally, they stand, or rather float like 4 inches off of the ceiling. You want to have some kind of gap, some space between the panel and the ceiling so that the sound gets trapped in between the panel and above. And that just makes the panel more efficient. So overall, I think they make a huge difference, and they've really cut down on a sizable amount of the reverb and the echo that I was experiencing in this room before. You will know if you do any kind of video work that floor space comes at a premium, because you will have a tripod, you'll have a mic stand, you'll have light stands, you'll have C-stands. There's so much stuff. And in a small room like this, it was driving me crazy. And I just felt a need to do something in order to get some of this stuff off the floor. So what I ended up trying, and I actually have just one of these right now, but I'm probably going to end up buying another one, is something called the Autopole, made by Manfrotto. Now my Autopole is actually on the ceiling up here behind me. It's way up at the top of the ceiling up here. It's almost like a shower curtain rod. Like you extend it out. You can either run it from like the ceiling or like the floor to the ceiling, like if you're doing some type of like seamless paper behind you or something like that. Or you can run it from wall to wall. So you can put it up near the ceiling and then run it across from one wall to the other. And then that gives you a place to be hanging things. So I have this large pole up here now, and all you have to do is get some clamps like these. These are, I think these are called super clamps. Sounds like a 70s rock band. These are made by Impact, and you can just mount these onto the pole, put a spigot here with any kind of accessory attachment that you want, and you can hang lights, you can hang mics, you can hang, like I have a backlight, kind of like an accent light that's actually up there right now. That's actually where the Godox SL-60W is now. It actually lives up there. But now I'm thinking about getting another one of these Autopoles and doing one like in this direction, facing me here, because they are so useful and so helpful. All right, everyone, if you have any questions about what I'm using or anything that I haven't talked about in this video, feel free to leave a comment below, or if you don't want to post something publicly on YouTube and you want to reach out to me directly on Instagram, I'll leave my account handle up here. You can DM me on Instagram. That's perfectly cool with me. I don't mind. Happy to answer questions if anyone has some. Additionally, if you want to follow up on any of the gear, any of the things that I talked about in this video, I am linking to them below in the description. And of course, in full disclosure, you should know those are affiliate links. So if you purchase something, I will receive a little bit of affiliate revenue from it, but it doesn't cost you anything more. And that affiliate revenue helps support the content that I create here on this channel. By the way, speaking of this channel, if you haven't already subscribed to it, and if you're interested in the topic of photography and you're interested in this kind of stuff in general, please remember to hit subscribe. It really does make a difference. And if you enjoyed the video, please remember to give it a thumbs up as well. I would greatly appreciate it. That is it from me, everyone. I will see you next time.